Guys, we have to talk about the metaverse because even though in the United States that market looks really bad, and don't lie to me, it looks really bad because I have many friends that are huge gamers and none of them actually play any metaverse games. Don't lie to me, they all play League of Legends, Fortnite, or something else, but they do not play crypto metaverse games. So it looks dead in the West, but that's not true out East. In fact, over 50% of Sandbox's businesses have actually come from the far eastern region. So if you're looking to invest in a metaverse, see how many of them actually have good statuses in Asia, because that's where a lot of the money is coming from. Don't really know why Asians are really obsessed with the metaverse. Maybe their life is not really good outside the metaverse, so they want to live in a metaverse. And it's not only China, Japan and Korea. China also wants in, and they're developing through Hong Kong right now. In fact, China has announced they want metaverse firms with global influence and plans up to 5 industrial clusters by 2025. So basically, they want 5 national Chinese agencies to develop the domestic metaverse for industrial use through technologies like blockchain and AI. Now, Beijing probably has more sinister plans, like they want to have like a social rating in the metaverse. They hope that the metaverse can bring improved efficiency to manufacturing in this automotive, aerospace, and home appliance industries among others. So it's not necessarily a game. They're more looking at it for industrial functions. But obviously, like that's going to encourage metaverse development in China. Now, I'm not really sure if the development in China is going to have to do with cryptocurrencies, but they want to use the metaverse to pump other technologies like VR, AI, and blockchain. So according to the policy, this is from scmp.com, according to the policy document published on Friday by 5 Chinese ministries led by the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, China aims to build 3 to 5 industrial clusters around the emerging technologies by 2025. So basically, like, they really want to develop this thing. And China is a huge industry. And, maybe not, they can tap some of those current metaverse companies out there that are into this game building. Will that help your coin? I'm not really sure. But it could leave a lot of prospects and could leave a lot of hype for the future. And more than that, they've launched a 3-year metaverse development plan as Hong Kong gets its first tokenized estate fund. So China is going all in on this metaverse stuff. And there's a good chance they'll use some of this technology that these companies have actually developed. They might steal the technology, but they're probably going to have some kind of dealings with the companies. So China has officially launched a 3-year action plan to encourage the development of the country's metaverse industry as companies look to integrate next-generation information technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, cloud computing, and virtual realities into the metaverse. So this is from Kitco. According to a report from the South China Morning Post, a policy document posted on Friday by 5 Chinese ministries, including the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, said China has the goal of building 3 to 5 industry clusters around these technologies by 2025. The plan includes 5 main tasks for firms in the country: developing advanced technological and industrial systems, creating a 3D interactive industrial metaverse, designing immersive and interactive digital life applications, establishing comprehensive industrial support systems, and implementing a secure and credible industrial governance framework. And they want to integrate the metaverse into various facets of the economy. And they're probably going to want to tap companies that have that basically have experience in building the metaverse. Now, either like these companies' coins are going to go up, which is somewhat unlikely, or maybe the company's stock is going to go up. So maybe if you have a private stock buy, that might be a good option. I'm not really sure if any of these major metaverses are on the actual stock market, but I bet some of these guys like Sandbox, Alluvium, something, they might actually get some of these deals. Now, like I said, these are going to be more private, so I'm not really sure if they're going to help the chain. But it looks like Asia, not just for gaming, but for other stuff, is going to get in the metaverse. And countries like Japan and Korea are going to be more open to like metaverse games. And they're going to allow crypto in metaverse games as well. So don't just look at the adoption back here in the United States for kind of a marker. You got to look at Asia as well in terms of like how well the metaverse is actually getting adopted. And it's getting much, much better adopted in Asian countries than it is in the United States. So things like Sandbox, IMX, Alluvium, stuff like that. I do believe they have like worldwide potential that's way higher than the U.S. potential. I think the U.S. will eventually catch up with the rest of the world when it comes to this metaverse stuff, but Americans just don't really seem to be that interested right now. I guess our lives are significantly better than their lives, so we don't need to live in a pretend verse, whereas some of them might need to live in a pretend verse. In China, they might not get away in the pretend verse because the meta police, are going to be policing the metaverse as well, as China has actually indicated. But a lot of the business right now for these gaming metaverses is coming from Japan and South Korea. We know that they're actually really crazy about games. I mean, they're like really, really good at these games as well. And they have active like industrial sectors that's actually promoting the development of metaverses, and they're not hindering crypto projects. So like I said, like in this Cointelegraph report, Sandbox co-founder says the metaverse sector is thriving in Hong Kong, Korea, and Japan. The metaverse might feel like it's dead for users living in the States, but the industry is thriving throughout Asia. So basically, like they said, roughly 50% of Sandbox's business has come from several countries in Asia. If you don't focus on Asia, you will think the metaverse is dead from the North American Western side, but it's so hot in Asia. Hong Kong and Korea are the top two markets, followed by Japan. And Hong Kong is going to lead into the Chinese market, which, once again, I'm not really sure if it's going to help your coin, but it could definitely help the company's development, and that could actually open itself to new investing opportunities. Meanwhile, Borget noted that he is soon to announce the launch of Lion City on stage at Token 2049 in Singapore, a neighborhood of 512 virtual land plots in the Sandbox metaverse that aims to showcase Singapore's culture through partnership with a number of global brands. I can see China doing something like this. I'm not really sure if they're going to really allow the coin, but they might do it just to get the Chinese culture kind of out there. You know, to have like Chinese virtual plots of land to govern a city, kind of like how Beijing wants to govern it in the virtual world. Kind of a weird concept, but I definitely think that this is a way that the government can go to actually control people and to actually control people in the metaverse as well. But either way, this could actually open up huge opportunities for Sandbox and likewise projects. So like Sandbox might actually be a gem that you might want to look at because it does seem like they have the connections in a lot of these Asian projects. Borget detailed how the Sandbox had just closed a major virtual land sale in Turkey, where the metaverse has what he described as a big ecosystem. So basically, like the Sandbox ecosystem has grown to well over 400 brands, 700 partners around the world, and 200 verified agencies that are building on Sandbox. But that is not the only. That is really not the only ecosystem out there. There's other metaverses, and it's possible that like a government like China could build like their own exclusive little metaverse on Sandbox, which would be very, very interesting. And of course, like the West isn't really adopting the metaverse. It looks like it isn't really that interested, neither the US or Europe, but other places are definitely interested. So like the first notable development was the introduction of dynamic NFTs, which allow the creators to alter the metadata and change the appearance and features of given asset. I feel like every NFT has to become truly unique, not just in appearance, but in metadata attributes. So basically like the augmented reality stuff and like Apple's augmented reality Vision Pro headset has a major step forward for the metaverse industry. So like this is all about digital assets, tokenizing digital assets, and opening up a new industry in the virtual world to sell stuff, to do business, and to even live kind of like everyday life. And I can see why in the US and Europe it's going to take a while, but it probably will eventually come with a newer generation, which tends to want to live online more than want to live in the real world. You could say it's the downfall of society, but hey, at least you can profit in the downfall of society. I personally think it's just like more of an evolution of society. I don't think everyone should go virtual and plug in virtual, obviously. There's like, stuff that does well virtually and stuff that does well like that isn't virtual. So the thing is like, I don't really know what I think about the metaverse. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe like I'm a generation above, so I'm not that gung-ho about it. But it does look like there are a lot of players that are very, very excited about this. They just don't happen to be in the United States. But most of the world's population is not in the United States. And there's a lot of metaverse and crypto growth potential out there that is not in the United States. So keep a track of like what's going on in Asia. Keep a track of like which one of these metaverses actually has what partnerships in Asia. It looks like Sandbox could definitely be a gem, and the metaverse could definitely be blowing up in like Japan, China, and other countries in Asia, and we're just not noticing it. But that could actually mean that like we're left out of a lot of opportunities, because these brands and these games and these metaverses are global. They're not just localized to the United States. So the investment opportunities are there. You just have to look a little harder and more internationally to actually find them. And I feel like a lot of people are going to, in the United States, are going to be missing their chance. And we know how Korean people love to FOMO coins, and they might actually be FOMOing in on metaverse as well. And heck, China could throw their hat in the ring as well, and that's like 1.5 billion new possible users, although it will be very restricted in China. So, actually, just because it's not doing so well in the United States doesn't mean it's definitely a failing industry. It could take 10 or 20 years in the United States, but it's developing in other areas of the world much, much faster. And that means you could actually profit off that development. So really, give it a chance. And definitely look into Sandbox, Illuvium, and some of these other coins, especially Sandbox right now, because that looks like it's what's taking center stage. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.